Okay, so this is Sean King. He's on the JB show. If you don't know who Coach JB is, he was the coach on some team for Netflix. That's how I know him from watching the Netflix. Like I said, I've been locked in, dialed in with football damn near all my life. So if I wasn't watching like the Hoover little series that they had, it was him, NFL Network, whatever, you know what I'm saying, football was involved, I was there. So we about to get down to, you know what I'm saying, basically this debate on basically if you're a non-player and if you're a player doing media covering the game of football, whether it's the NFL, college football, high school football, having this media, having your takes and having your takes respected. It's one thing to have a take, but it's another thing for your take to be respected by your peers and others that's in the field. You dig what I'm saying? So if you have a voice, if your voice is being heard, if your mic is loud, then you know what I'm saying, you should want some type of respect, but it's also up to you to have some type of integrity about your takes and what you say, you know what I'm saying, about the game of football. And we about to break it down. What they say, I think this conversation needs to be had. So let's hop into it, man.
He says that Ryan Clark has worked with Mina Kimes for years, Sean, and never once called her out for not knowing or playing football. It took a week for him to call out Pete Schrager.
That's because she's a woman, he's a man. Let's just get to the bottom of the facts. I mean, y'all gonna hear what he has to say, but that not calling out the female for not playing football. She's a female. Not to say that females don't play football, but like, come on now, let's be real. And then second of all, you know what I'm saying, like I said, he's going to say that he thinks that he's racist. I don't think that, but from his perspective, from his talking point, from his vantage point, from where he's talking, I can see why he thinks that.
Why did this happen? And I want to get your take on it.
Schrager's. Oh, was he finna? Let me hear it.
Either way, go ahead.
Clark is a moron. He consistently embarrasses ESPN. None of his colleagues like him, and ESPN would be far better if they.
The picture is crazy. I just seen the picture at the bottom. The picture is crazy. Not generational, all white players, generational, all black players. That's crazy. And I thought about that in my head when he was saying it though, like when he was like Tom Brady's not generational. Peyton Manning is definitely generational. And he could be generational and you ain't gotta mention, you know what I'm saying, his throwing mechanics, what he did in the pocket, anything like that. He's generational just from up here. I don't think we've never had a quarterback do what Peyton Manning did from the neck up.
Did not employ him. I think, frankly, Ryan Clark is racist. And I think you can go look at his entire history of how he interacts with people.
He just
I
said
don't
it,
think he
so-
would have said that
Yeah,
to
like
Steve
real
Naismith,
nice.
who also never played in the NFL and never played pro sports. He would never say, you don't know what you're talking about because you're not a player. And if you doubt me about the way that he has handled this, has he ever said anything to Mina Kimes at all?
I'm gonna be honest. I want to take credit. I think I was the first person to bring it up because I tweeted it first.
Yeah.
Why
I
haven't you?
saw your tweet and then use that.
Yeah, like why haven't you hollered at Mina Kimes? I said it right out the gate. Why haven't you hollered at Mina Kimes? Anyway, listen, Sean, I think he is racist, but he's definitely a race baiter. We know that.
I think that. I don't think he's racist, but I think he is a rage baiter. And like I said, I never posted the video, but like I said, since Cam Newton said what he said about not being the safe and having those type of takes that, you know what I'm saying, gets the back of your heads on the back of your neck up, he's been overboard with it.
What his biggest thing is. Marcellus goes at him hard every day. Him and Marcellus got a major beef.
Shout out to Marcellus
Marcellus
Wiley.
is tired of it. There's a lot of cats tired of Ryan Clark. That's the only thing he does is hot take, apology. Hot take, apology. I don't know. I think he wants to do the pivot more than ESPN.
Maybe.
Do you see him being ridded of at ESPN, or is he untouchable?
So full disclosure, Ryan Clark is a fraternity brother of mine. So I'm going to attack the bigger issue here.
That's one thing good about being in a fraternity though, because you got people in high places, man.
having a panel of former players that are predicting, evaluating, or analyzing either a game.
This is Sean King, a quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as well, if y'all didn't know who Sean King was.
To come or a game that just completed at the highest platform, and putting them on that panel with somebody that is not an expert in their sport, but is also very prominent in their space, which is why they're on the panel. There needs to be a modicum of respect towards the actual experts and what their opinion is. So let's attack this journalistic view that because I'm on the same platform.
I'm sorry, I gotta get it off. I'm sorry. Just because you played football at the highest level doesn't mean you're an expert at explaining the game. Because you had some players, if I'm right or wrong, you had some players that couldn't even read a playbook. They was mentally talented, could do everything on the football field, but couldn't read the playbook. We've heard the stories, we've seen it. You dig what I'm saying? So Johnny Manziel, for example. So you kind of like, you feel what I'm saying? That's my only pushback for that right there. Not to say that anybody that was up there on that panel, Teddy Bridgewater, Teddy Bruschi, Dan Orlovsky, Ryan Clark, are all shocked.
I have the same level of expertise. You don't. And because Strager does not have respect in his disagreement and in voicing his opinion, that's what solicits the response that he got. And then as a journalist, if you're going to say the truth don't have emotions and you want to tell what you see, meaning that player's garbage, that player's a bust, that player sucks, then don't turn around and turn sensitive when somebody says they don't respect your opinion because you didn't play. You're not an expert.
I agree, but it's to a certain extent. Because what level of football do you have to reach for you to be an expert? That's the question. Because that's why I love doing this and I love having this conversation and I love that players, that's what I'm saying, I love that players have podcast. I love that players come on and do this shit because it gives us that interaction. But it's like now it's the question of, because you can't tell me I don't know football. I played it. I got to high school, played it. I wasn't good enough to make it past that, but I've been watching it for so long. I know the history of football. I can tell you just about everything that didn't happen in the National Football League. You feel what I'm saying? So you can't. I still study film like I'm a player. Like, so you can't sit up here and tell me I can't talk football with nobody. I don't care who in front of me. That's just how I am. That's just how I feel when it comes to basketball, NBA. You got me. Soccer, you got me. Baseball, you got me. Wrestling, whatever. But football, the national, college football, you got me. The National Football League, my nigga. Oh yes, we can definitely talk heavy.
That's the problem I have with these bloviating talking heads that are very successful in one thing, but aren't experts in what they're actually being asked to debate.
So you agree with me, though?
Yeah, you. So I didn't expect Sean. Okay, you kind of surprised me.
It's like us walking into a hospital,
right,
and arguing with a neurosurgeon about something that has to do with surgery on the brain.
Right, but okay, I gotta push back a little bit.
No. But let's continue.
So with that example, because I'm with you at the end of the day.
Hold on. Let me finish.
Yeah,
because I have a whole lot of neurosurgeon doctor friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard them talk about brain surgery for years.
Okay.
And now when I go into this panel, because that's basically what journalists are in certain sports. They've been around the game for a long time. They know a lot of people in the game.
They study the game too, though. They're not just around it. Like they study the game.
That's why I call bullshit.
Okay.
And I call bullshit on that because football is not rocket science. Now, the terminology is like learning a new language. The disguises and, you know what I'm saying, from the offense to the defense to even special teams, if it's somebody with a high school diploma, they can learn that shit. If you got females, like my stepmom, as long as I've been knowing my stepmom, she's been with my father, she knows football and can tell you everything of what's going on. She might not care for if they're running a cover 2, cover 3, cover 4, cover 6, an invert, palms, if it's an I formation, shotgun, pistol, if they running 3 wide, 4 wide, bunch, trips, you know what I'm saying? She don't care for that, but she know we got to get this first down. You know what I'm saying? They had a turnover. She knows the game enough to be a fan to cheer. You feel what I'm saying? So if she felt the need to speak on her team and how she felt about it, she would have the right to do that because she's been watching them and been watching the game for as long as forever. So you mean to tell me she wouldn't be able to speak that her opinion is not validated? That's what we getting at. So it's like it's basically y'all saying that if y'all get mad at a take because this person didn't play the game, now I get to slander him for not playing the game? That's basically what you're saying.
Some of them don't study the game. Most of them go and regurgitate a take that they've heard somewhere else or an opinion that they feel came from an insider that they value and trust.
That's a fact.
When you say they've learned the game, that means they can get on the goddamn board and draw some X's and O's and talk about what the y'all was showing. I was listening. I thought so.
That's what I'm saying. That's advanced shit, though, bro. That's advanced shit. A lot of people don't care to get that advanced in it. I grew up playing quarterback, so I know what to expect. I know what this is. I know what the X and the Z and the Y is supposed to do with the running back, with the O-line, the protections, the high. I grew up playing the game, so of course I know it. But that and I don't know it to the extent of a quarterback in the National Football League, or OC or head coach. Or a person that draw up plays, I don't know it to the extent of them. But if I see it, I can break it down. But it's kind of like that still shouldn't disclose it just a pure fan. And I know we're not talking about a pure fan in this instant because he's on TV. But even if he didn't play the game and he doesn't understand it as well as a person that can break down film, he can look at a stat board and say AJ Brown had 1 catch for 10 yards, CeeDee Lamb had 10 catches for $1 something. CeeDee Lamb had a better game. Yeah, he lost, but he still individually he had a better game. What's wrong with that?
You know, AJ McCarron, and talk us through what Brian Flores' thought process is on those disguises and what all he can get to from that. That's when you learning and knowing the game. Them cats don't know that stuff like that.
And that's my point. Here's my point. I am totally in agreement.
He's true. Yeah, I agree with that. They probably don't know it to that degree. But the question is, does that means you can't talk about the game though? I don't feel like that warrants is just because my take is different from yours, you get to say, oh, you ain't play, you don't know what you're talking about. How? I know what the fuck I seen on the tape when I watched the game. AJ Brown ain't do shit. They ain't throw him the ball. CeeDee Lamb got fucking 10 catches for $1 something, and they threw the ball to him 12 times. He had a better individual game, which of course he won. AJ Brown team won, but we had this conversation last year about the Philadelphia Eagles and AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts. So I don't understand why. Like I think Ryan Clark did what he did because, like I said, I feel as though it was a new wave started to surface about how you see a lot of these players getting their own podcast and they feel as though that since they played, that my opinion is higher than those of the people that didn't play. Even if you're on an ESPN or a NFL Network or a FS1, if you didn't play, I don't care what platform you. That's the vibe that it's given. I'm not saying they are. That's just the vibe that it gives.
With what Ryan said to the guy, But my overall point is, what I want to know is, why hasn't he done it with Mina Kimes? That's the question I have. That fuck all the other shit. I am agreeing with you. I go at Smitty every day on this show. If you didn't play the game, it's not the same. I don't want to hear your fucking opinion. Period. That's just me.
And so let me clarify what I'm saying, because I'm not saying if you didn't play the game, I don't value your opinion. My thing is, the people that didn't play the game that I value are the ones that actually put the work in and understand the game in totality.
Mm-hmm.
Right, okay.
You see what I'm saying?
And you're saying Peter Schrager, in your opinion, isn't one of those guys?
No, absolutely not. Peter
None of
Schrager
those guys are, though.
He can't get on the board. Clay Travis either. They can't get on the board.
None of them.
But that's what I'm saying, bro. That don't mean he don't know what's going on, though. That's two totally different things. To be able to break down a defense and coverages and disguises and blitzes, and to go down to the offensive side of the ball to break down protections and hat reads and progressions through a route tree, and a 3-step drop to a 5-step drop to a 7-step drop. That don't mean that the person who watched the game watched AJ Brown catch the ball one time and watched CeeDee Lamb catch the ball 10 times, and he spoke on what he saw. How can you, he's speaking on a fact. That is a fact. There's nothing to debate about that. They was talking about the performances of the 2 wide receivers. One receiver, he won the game with 1 reception. The other receiver lost the game with 10. But what Peter Schrager said was a fact. So how can the rebuttal be, oh, you didn't play? That's the non-player in you, because AJ Brown won and CeeDee Lamb lost. Well, that wasn't even the conversation. The conversation was about who had the better game. This is gatekeeping on a certain level. It is, to be honest. Let's be honest. This is gatekeeping on a certain level, and y'all need to stop. I could see if he said some outlandish ass shit. Oh, AJ Brown trash. He only had 1 catch for. That means, nigga, you're not even looking at the game. You don't even know the Philadelphia Eagles game plan and how they play football on offense. That's when you can throw this nigga away. But for you to sit up there, for him to sit up there, like, to say that, okay, CeeDee Lamb had a better game than AJ Brown because he's looking at the catches and the yards. You can't just say, oh, that's the non-player in you. You don't know what you're talking about. I can see if he said AJ Brown was trash. He just said CeeDee Lamb had a better game. I can see if he critiqued AJ Brown. You can't even critique AJ Brown for the simple fact that Jalen Hurts barely threw him the fucking ball. But like, that's why I'm like, hold up, bro. Like, we have to get some type of criteria to this shit. We have to.
When we first had the topic, you admitted that Schrager's a guy who's respected in the space, been around for a while.
Right, meaning.
I'm not flipping it at all. I said the same thing. I said the same thing to your point, Smith. I said he's a respected guy. That doesn't mean he knows football.
Right.
I never said I'm listening to him break down plays.
No, you didn't say that.
Dan Orlovsky could barely break down the motherfucker.
Nah, you tripping now, bro. You tripping. So that's basically saying that you can break down plays better than Dan Orlovsky. I would like to see it. I would like to see it. Not to say that you can't. I'm not saying you can't. I would just like to see it. I've seen Daniel do it. I've seen Dan do it. I've seen Acho do it. I've seen Gruden do it. I've seen the coach for the New York Giants, what's his name? Dayball do it. I would like to see him do it. This is like, because everybody does it differently. Everybody has a knowledge of the game. I've seen Peyton Manning do it on ESPN too. Eli do it. Like,
played.
And JB, we got to get off Mina, because here's the reason Ryan has never clapped back at Mina. Mina's never disrespectful.
Never.
Thank
Yeah.
Mina operates in her own space.
It don't matter.
Exactly
No,
what I
no,
said.
it does matter. It does
Exactly
matter.
what I said.
Hell
Sean.
no.
Because no, it does matter. Because
There's no difference between Mina and Schrager, homie.
Oh, 100%.
What's the difference?
Mina's not disrespectful in her presentation. Schrager talks as if he's on the same level as the experts he's on the panel with. There's no
That's what I'm saying, bro. You saying, That's crazy. Because he's an expert in his right as well as being in this space. You was an expert in being on a football field. You have entered another industry that talks about you being on the football field. So you cannot, your expertise cannot disrespect his expertise, and his expertise can't disrespect yours. That's where we're at with it. So basically, you got to say players feel like Peter is disrespecting them from his takes, disrespecting the essence of being a player. That's how you got to break this down, because now it needs to be broken down to the point of where as though like what is deemed disrespectful to a player that's now on an analyst desk. What is deemed, because it's all opinionated. It's some facts in there, so your opinion needs to be based around facts. Your theory needs to be based around facts, but it is your opinion at the end of the day. So what is deemed disrespectful? And like I said, like I don't even, when you see Mina Kimes, like when I see females talk about football, it's just females talking about football. Why would you even challenge that in the first place? That don't even need to be challenged by you didn't play. Why would you even do that?
Deference. There's no, okay, I hear what you guys are saying. I'm gonna lean towards what you guys are saying, but
When was Schrager disrespectful?
Oh, just the way that they embrace the debate, the way that they attack the topics. Like you can't argue.
Let's not talk about the topics. Let's talk about the one that we talking about now. Not just topics, and you don't go back and talk about previous topics. Let's talk about the one that everybody's talking about right now. Was he disrespectful, or was they having a conversation? It was a heated conversation, but a conversation about AJ Brown and CeeDee Lamb. Because from the vibe that I'm getting, it's kind of like you're saying that he should take a back seat, and whatever comes out of the player's mouth is automatically right because they played and he didn't.
You with an expert that played, coached, did all these things in this sport, and we know you're dead wrong, and you standing over there on business like we stupid, dumb, and don't know what we're talking about.
Sean, real quick.
Mina never makes the cold person feel like that.
Okay.
And I said the exact same thing. Like the show, like her show, her approach, her brand is completely different. She's a nerd in the sport.
She's
who focuses on
analytical.
numbers.
Mhm.
There's no debating. There's no
all
none of that.
numbers.
Right. So that's number one. But real quick though, Sean. So I feel everything you're saying. My pushback though, and you know this because you worked at ESPN, you worked in radio, you done this. You don't do that shit on air though. That's my pushback. So like you can feel that way all you want. When we're on TV, when we're on air, and in those moments, we supposed to be like teammates. I know guys, you know guys on air who be on the same show and don't fucking like each other. When the camera and the lights come on, we gotta be a team. That don't mean we agree, of course. Like we debate.
That's a good.
Shows are. But
That's a good point.
you never pull that card out and say, well, the fact that you didn't play, it's like, well, because basically you're completely discrediting him live on air, and this is his job. This is what he does.
Yep. And then you're discrediting a lot of people in ESPN.
I want you to go and look at Schrager's energy, mannerisms, and decor during that panel.
I call cap. I'm calling bullshit, Sean.
And
I don't
watch this.
agree at all with you. I'm
let me give-
fighting this.
Let me give a personal story here.
Please do.
So I get to ESPN. I had a really, really good college career. Pro career, I was solid. Didn't get the chances that some of these guys are getting to go other places and be a starter. But I get to ESPN. So we're in a production meeting, and this is when Trey Wingo thought that he was going to be the guy that replaced whoever was doing Monday Night Football. Like Trey Wingo was high up in the company at the time. We're in a production meeting, and we're ranking our quarterbacks. This is Aaron Rodgers' second year, I think. And I've got Aaron Rodgers in my top 5, and he just thought that was the dumbest thing ever. Like, he couldn't wrap his mind around. And I'm like, first of all, dude, I'm thinking this because I'm just getting the ESPN.
Yeah.
How you gonna tell me about my quarterback list?
Right.
And so where I do sympathize slightly with Ryan Clark is when we got on air, because of the information I had from the production meeting, I could feel the sarcasm, the dismissiveness in his energy and demeanor on air.
Okay.
And I'm saying maybe this has something to do with a production meeting or something that led up to this where Schrager, you know what I'm saying? Because this is what happens in these things.
100%.
You can give the audience a he don't know what he's talking about without saying he don't know what he's talking about from your energy, your mannerisms, and your decor.
And you can tell.
Didn't even look at that. I didn't even look at it that way. Didn't even look at it that way. So that's great insight.
Oh, and I mean, I hate to like assume, but that's all that we can do. It felt like this was bigger than that moment. It felt like they had. I'm not gonna call it beef, but they don't really fuck with each other. I'm gonna be real.
These seeds have been planted along the line.
Yeah,
I'm calling so much cap. It's so much cap. This is disgusting to hear Sean King talk like this.
So first of all, hold on, JB. Hold on before you say this.
I love it.
I said when this started, Ryan Clark is my fraternity brother. So I'm going to attack the bigger picture. So even though the mechanism being used is Peter Schrager and Ryan Clark, I'm talking about the big picture energy that exists in these platforms, whether it be baseball, whether it be basketball, whether it be football, where you have experts, meaning former players, former coaches, on panels with very accomplished people in journalism.
All right, so here's what I'm calling bullshit. They hired this guy away from another network.
Yeah.
Ryan Clark knows that.
Yeah.
So obviously the organization hired him to come be a lead when Greeny was off on Get Up, and then take a lead on several other shows to give his particular take. Ryan Clark knew this.
Which he's good at. I don't think people realize, like, you just don't be on NFL Network for that many years and you're bad.
For one. Number two, to defend that debate over Mina Kimes, who we know is a fucking DEI hire, is crazy to me. And then to mention the attitude or the projection that Schrager threw at him to what you think is absolutely crazy. Because the biggest talking head on that show is an offensive personality in Stephen A. Smith. So don't tell me Stephen A. Smith and Ryan Clark ain't up there fucking going at it and shouldn't go at it every day when Stephen A. is the most aggressive person on that panel.
That's a good point. And it's made and they say they say that they like that though. They like the heated debates and all that. So I think that Ryan just stepped over the line, and the way he did it, it belittled the debate. Like the debate part of it, the heatedness, if that's a word, was good. But once he discredited everything that by him not being a player, that's what really now it's not even a debate no more.
And now we're defending these other guys, but not Stephen A. Smith, who never fucking played football.
Jerry might be
cooking.
Sean's a hypocrite.
He cooking. He definitely cooking though.
Hypocrite right now on the show, homie.
Stuff like that,
So first of all, you're wrong, because I am the most.
You're defending because it's your frat brother. Fuck Ryan Clark.
No, you're wrong because I am so vocal about. I don't listen to anything Stephen A. Smith says.
It don't matter.
I'm happy for his success. I think he's done a great job of navigating.
Let me listen. Let me hear him finish.
Of Stephen A. Smith. Mina Kimes, if you want me on your show, I'll be willing to come. I support her because you attack her for no fucking reason at all.
But Sean, that ain't the point. That ain't the point, though, Sean.
It is the point.
No,
that's not the point. Sorry, that's not what he was saying. He was saying that the lead on that show creates friction by his takes and it's aggressive when they go at each other. We've seen it. So when Peter Schrager and Ryan go at it, you just immediately discredit him by not playing. But you've never said that to Stephen A. Smith. That's what he's saying.
Oh, you gotta be real. You just mentioned Schrager not knowing football and not playing, and Stephen A. didn't either, and he's much more aggressive than Schrager.
I don't listen to what nothing Stephen A. got to say about no fucking football.
But you can't.
Yeah, this is when the debate ends. This is when. Remember what I said when somebody starts to get personal. I don't. It's not about what you do. That's not what he's saying. When you start to get personal, whether it's with who you're debating against or you start bringing up yourself, you're losing. You're losing the debate. You're losing. What he said is valid. As much as, you know what I'm saying, JB is aggressive on his own show, but what he said is valid. He didn't have that. Ryan Clark didn't have that same energy with Stephen A. when they go at it, and he's never discredited him in the public eye on national television. But now, as soon as Peter Schrager and him have one of the moments, you immediately go to that. Why? But let me listen to hear if he don't say nothing else about it, we cutting the video off. He won. The debate is over with.
Dismiss the head of the organization over a guy like Schrager and just call that beef out and not the other shit.
First of all, you brought up this, so I was talking about this specific situation. I also was full disclosure from the beginning. Ryan Clark is my fraternity brother. So I'm going to talk big picture on this. I'm not going to get into is Ryan Clark this, that, or that. Like, you guys make it for me.
That's fine. I'm just saying that the topic at hand, though, is Schrager, Mina, but we got other talking heads on that show that didn't play football.
Schrager and Mina are two different people from a presentation standpoint.